I wish I was special. You're still very special. But I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. That's no curse. I wanna have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to notice when I'm not around. You're so very special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
All right, guys. Okay, we could start now. Let me go through the comments real quick. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Welcome, Austin. Landon, welcome. Jimmy, 6 times. Welcome to the room. Okay, we got a couple guys in the room. So, hopefully, more people will join the conversation. We're going to talk, of course, about today's race, and I am going to talk about the league. Um, so let me see. Hold on. Does your Irish? Okay. Who's Jimmy Six? And invite Joshua Kreider. Yes, I did. The league did start. We've run 3 races already, and yes, please join if you can. We're still, inviting people. We're trying to get things started and get more people involved. So if you can make it, it's on Friday nights. So hopefully you can. Austin says Ross, yeah, keeps rubbing me the wrong way. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that asshole in a little bit. Welcome Tanner Levasseur, new viewer. Let's see, Josh Kreider. Okay. Did you get the invite? Let me know. I guess you know about it. You must have got it. Okay. Very good. So we need all the people we can get. I'll get into more details. So, want to talk about right off the bat? Let me know. This is the time. So, yeah, today was very eventful, to say the least. But I do think it was entertaining. It was a good race. I liked it. Accepted it. Good to see you. It's all good. See you Friday. Okay, very good. Well, if you stick around, I'm going to get into details. In case you don't know, Landon 822. All right. Well, today's race was, I enjoyed it. I thought for the most part it was a good race. I did, I saw the beginning of the race up until there were a couple of cautions. And then I had to leave to come here to work. And then once I got here and I got settled in, I was able to watch the rest of the race. So I jumped back in during a long green flag run in the second stage. So I did catch a big chunk of the race. I'm not sure how much I missed because I left. I think I left before the end of the first stage, and I caught it after the second stage had started. I might have missed a good 35 minutes of the race. So I don't know if that makes a difference in terms of how much enjoyment there was to the race. I will say that the race started out, it was a bit iffy because there were a couple of cautions in there. And when a race starts off with cautions, it does throw things off just a bit. Um, I did enjoy, uh, I did enjoy, what was I going to say? I already forgot. Well, there was some good racing early on. Unfortunately, Daniel Suarez uh, lost control, crashed. At first, I was like, what the hell happened? But it was obvious there was something that went wrong. When they interviewed him later, they did, he did bring up, he said he thinks he had a tire go down because the car just had, there was no warning. It just snapped out of, snapped loose and he lost it. He was making passes. He got if that didn't happen. And that was a quick kick to the balls right off the bat. So for me, that, you know, um, it was a negative thing for me, but I have to separate that from the rest of the race. I don't want to use that and then have a negative uh, outlook on the race. So I just, I was mad, but I put that to the side and I continued to watch. There was some other issues, a couple of other wrecks, and then I had to leave. But when I got back into the race, I was at work and it was already green flag, and I caught everything from there to the end. And for me, the race was pretty solid. I'm not going to tell you it was the greatest race ever, but I thought it was above average for sure. I give the race a solid 8 out of 10. I think that's a really good rating. Um, if I caught the entirety of the race, would that have changed things? I don't know. Um, but it was a good race. And with the long green flag runs, that's what I enjoy. I want to see the attrition, the tire wear, the fuel management, the green flag pit cycles, that kind of stuff. We got to see that, and I enjoy that. We don't get enough of that nowadays, I don't think. So, somebody let me know if we're still live. Let me see something. I want to make sure everything is good. It says I'm still streaming. Okay. I just want to double check because I've been having a lot of technical issues. Um, but the story of the race, of course, comes down to Ross Chastain. Uh, I can't stand this fucking guy, and I'm a Trackhouse fan. I'm a Daniel Suarez fan, and I'm not taking anything away from this guy's ability or his skill. Obviously, he's got talent. Like a guy who's desperate and at all times, right? And okay, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Because I know I have a lot of technical issues from time to time, and I want to make sure to do the things he's doing. He's over aggressive. Okay, hold on. Don Bender, I'm at practice session at Lanier Asphalt Super Late Model for tomorrow night. All right, man. Good for you. Keep getting that practice in, and feel free to join when you feel comfortable. As long as you got good car control, and that's all we ask for. So, anyhow, so for Chastain to keep anyway, this idiot has to say, yeah, I'm and Hey, Bruce, NASCAR Kid Formula, welcome. Come on. Yeah, this thing, my internet's really slow.
Second place finish here at Dover for Ross Chastain, the first with 4 tires on that restart. In the closing laps, what more did you need?
A few more laps. Just once we lost control of the race there, I needed something different to beat Martin. We were really equal, so it's pretty cool to be equal at this place with that guy, a hero of mine.
And then earlier in the race, we saw an incident with you. And did Brennan lift? He had some strong words for you.
Yeah, I definitely get done with Skip Barber tomorrow out at Sonoma, and when I get back into town, I'll go find him and Rick. I owe him an apology and a little bit more, so we'll try to make that right. I just overshot. I was following him by the 3. I thought he was faster. I thought he would roll right back by the 3, and he lifted, and I didn't check up enough. It wasn't anything aggressive. I wasn't trying to pass him. I was just following him by, and no comment on the rest.
So you're taking blame for it, though?
Yes.
What a fucking ass.
I love an all-inclusive resort with the water slides.
I can't stand that guy. He's such a fucking tool. How many times are you gonna apologize? How many times you gonna do this aw shucks, with his goofy grin? It's too much now. And I see people blaming Brendan Poole that he lifted too early. People were saying on Twitter. You have to have situational awareness as a driver, right? If you're Ross Chastain and you're behind Brendan Poole, and I forgot who he was racing side by side with, they were already lapped. So you have to understand those cars are not as good as your car. These guys are struggling and they're fighting each other. So, especially since it's early in the race, that's called situational awareness. You're aware of what's going on, what point of the race are you in, and who's in front of you. So why would you be riding his bumper into the corner and then, oh, if the guy lifts because his car is not handling as good as your car? That's 100% on Ross Chastain, and people are actually blaming Brennan Poole for lifting early. When these cars don't handle that well, their brake points are different, they handle different. You really have to just wait for a position where you can actually make a move. He is impatient. He doesn't wait. He's always aggressive all the time. Every restart, he was taking it 3 wide on the outside. I don't have a problem with that, but you better make sure that you don't fuck things up for someone else. And that's the problem I have with him. He does things that affect other people and ruin their whole race. And then at the end, he's like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake and, I got to make it up to. How you going to make it up to those guys? He's a fucking douchebag. I just can't stand this guy anymore. I've seen other people say, I saw Eric Estep, and he's like, oh, that he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy who's had to fight and scratch his way to get an opportunity. So fucking what? You can say that about half the fucking field. These guys fought and scratched for their opportunities, right? Not all of these people are silver spoon fed kids like Ty Gibbs or Austin Dillon, people that are born into these opportunities. Most of these guys fight and scratch and claw their way into opportunities. So to use that as an excuse for him and say, oh, he's a good guy, he's just, that's bullshit. Because what makes him different from anyone else? Nothing. And he has talent. That's what bothers me. He gets good cars and he's talented. If he pulls back just a little bit, nobody's asking him to change his whole driving style. But is it too much to ask to pull back just a little bit in certain situations, have better situational awareness? He's not a rookie, by the way. He's been racing for over 7 years, trucks, Xfinity, and now Cup. he's been around long enough to know better. And the fact that he hasn't learned anything and he continues to do this stuff, it's on him. There's no excuse. And everybody's making go on Twitter, you'll see all these people. Oh, it's Brennan Poole. He lifted way early. I mean, you can't expect everybody to just get out of your way. That's not how it works in this sport. Usually, a lapped car, they'll let you by if you're quicker. But these guys were fighting for position. They were side by side. And you can't wait another lap or two, maybe, to make that. And so what? If Kyle Larson is fighting you for position, listen, it's not the end of the race. It would have been different if it was like towards the end of the race. This was still in the first stage. And you're racing like every lap is the last lap. And I know people defend him. They say, oh, I like aggressive drivers and he's this and he's that. And listen, I'm not taking anything away from him, but you can't excuse this stuff. It's okay to be aggressive, but there's a line you can't cross. And if you don't know where that line is and you keep crossing it, you're responsible. This guy's a grown man. And he's just lucky that we live in a different time. Like this generation of drivers, I don't know if they're just a bunch of pussies. But they don't do anything about it. You know, Larson did later on, like kind of block him, tried to mess it up for him. Okay, it's something, but at the end of the day, he has nothing to be afraid of. But if at some point somebody knocks his fucking face off, maybe he'll learn a lesson. So let's look let me show you what people need, how people should handle it. Okay. Oh my God, what's this guy again? Okay. Okay, we're gonna watch this. Pay attention here. This is how you handle people like Ross Chastain.
That's Casey Mears and Marcus Ambrose. Those are two of the more low-key guys you'll ever run into in the garage. Oh, look, there's some actual shoving going on. There's a punch, a swing.
Looks like he's getting a little bit physical with the punch. He landed that punch to Casey Mears, and Mears tried to retaliate, but you saw the crew guys come in there and take over.
He was shoving at first. Then he got, I mean, the video is very dark. Let me see if I find a better one. But maybe this one's better. Hold on a second. I hope it's not. I hope it's brighter.
With Armor All stain repelling technology,
We gotta wait for
it's easy to everyday proof your car.
But Mears was shoving him at first.
No matter
Then
how
he got
tough the job is.
cold-cocked. And then
Armor All
after that,
technology.
like,
Less
oh,
work,
I'm coming
more
after
clean.
you, but he wasn't all aggressive.
Husqvarna is
He
the
was
largest
waiting for
outdoor
guys
power
to
equipment producer in the
step
world.
and
Visit
break them apart.
Husqvarna.com.
Watch this.
And the tempers, that's Casey Mears and Marcus Ambrose. Those are two of the more low-key guys you'll ever run into in the garage.
Yeah, he's
Oh, look,
tough now.
there's some actual shoving going on. There's
Boom.
a punch, a swing.
Yeah, that hurt.
This is not
grabbed his eye. That
Ultimate
hurt.
Fighting.
Now look,
on
he's
Fox.
going
This is
after him, but
NASCAR on
he's
Fox,
not
and we are
trying to go
live
after
in
him.
Richmond with Michael Waltrip
He's
and Chris
waiting for
Myers.
people to get in between.
Looks like he's getting a little bit physical with the punch. He landed that punch to
Let's see
Casey
that
Mears.
again.
And the
Watch
tempers,
this. Oh, I'm a
that's
tough guy.
Casey
I'm gonna
Mears
shove
and
you.
Marcus Ambrose. Those are two of the more
And watch
low-key
what Marcus
guys
does. Look at his
you'll ever
punch.
run into in the garage. Oh, look, there's some actual shoving going on.
Boom.
There's a punch,
Look at it.
a
He's grabbing his
swing.
eye.
This is not Ultimate Fighting.
That's how you handle these guys, like Ross Chastain. And you don't see that anymore. I bet you if somebody did that to Ross Chastain, he would think twice. But these guys now, this new generation, they got no balls. All right, let me read some comments before we move forward. Okay? Don Bender is at practice. Anybody else buffering? NASCAR kid, yes. Are you guys getting this clear, or are you still buffering, or is maybe? I hope it's not a problem on my end. Just let me know. Bruce Wayne says, initially, I didn't have much of a problem with Chastain being a little aggressive, but it's starting to happen way too often and getting annoying. Also, Rusty Wallace was pretty good in the booth. Yes, he was. Um, Before I forget, I do want to point out that the broadcast, it wasn't as terrible as usual. Yeah, the commercials still happen too often. Um, I'm not a fan of Mike Joy. I'm sorry. Like, I get it that he's an institution, but I'm kind of done with him. I don't know what it is. He just rubs me the wrong way. Um, you guys know how I feel about Boyer. He sucks. But Rusty Wallace was great. He just shows up. He's professional. He's polished. Um, when he speaks, he's giving you insight as a driver. The type of thing that I just don't see Boyer do. You know, you would think a guy who just stopped racing not long ago would have more insight, and I don't really see it. But Rusty Wallace gives you insight, and he lets the action speak for itself. And he's not just, it seems like he understands people tune in to watch the race. They're not tuning in to listen to these guys in the booth. Yes, they are there to interpret the action, but they're not supposed to be the action. Something that Fox has lost track of through the years. If Fox is smart, I would try to sign him as soon as possible. Okay? And I will say this, in fairness to Boyer, today he wasn't as annoying as he usually is. He did seem to work pretty well with Rusty Wallace. I'm not sold on him. I'm just saying he wasn't as bad as usual. But that's the difference a guy like Rusty Wallace can make to a broadcast where um, I don't know, he just gave it a different feel. So it was better. Okay, I'm still, Fox still has a long way to go, but if they could sign Rusty Wallace, maybe even pairing him with someone better than Boyer, um, who knows, right? And it's not just the people in the booth; it's the whole production needs a lot of work. But Rusty Wallace definitely stood out, and I think a lot of people enjoyed his work today. I've seen on Twitter people praising his work, and I agree. He was really good. So I wanted to point that out. Tanner says Rusty was a great addition. Yep, 100%. Don Bender says I thought everything started on Tuesday night, but here we are, 80 laps at Lanier, super late. Okay, I don't really follow that, but yeah, I hope you're enjoying your time on iRacing. I know you're new. Bruce Wayne says Larson made the comment that Ross mistakes never seem to hurt him, just everyone else. Yep, I saw that comment, and yeah, it's like no matter what happens on the track, he benefits from it, and everybody else pays. Also, I noticed that a lot on iRacing. Guys that cause these wrecks make dumb moves. They moving to the front, and then other people get caught up in it. That happens all the time. It sucks. Austin says, "I remember that Ambrose punch." Yeah, man. That's how could anyone forget? That to me was as real as anything. I don't know if I've ever seen a more brutal punch. I mean, Casey, I'll give him some credit. He did take quite a shot. I think I saw footage of him somewhere, and you could see his fucking eye. That was a real solid punch, and he didn't go down. He took it. It hurt. You could tell it stung, but I will give him credit. Like, he didn't go down, and he kept coming at him, but he didn't want Ambrose. He didn't want no part of that. He was just like, somebody please beat me to him, like get in the way. That's what I can see here from the body language, but that's how you handle these guys. Now, I don't even know or remember what led to this. And for all I know, maybe Marcus Ambrose was at fault for something on the track. This isn't about who was right or wrong. I'm just saying, when two grown men have a problem, that's how you settle it. And I don't know, but I could guarantee you that Casey Mears never fucked around with Marcus Ambrose after this. That was a hell of a shot, and that's not something you see often. I mean, we've seen guys chase other people, and the crews get in the way, and you'll see, people swinging, but it's a real mess. Like, he had a clean shot and he took it, and man, that it hurt watching it. Listen, I don't want people to think that I'm promoting violence, although technically I am. And I'm not saying that I want to see this every week, but I'm just being real. This is the only way you're going to send a message to certain people, especially these guys, this generation now. And Tony Stewart talked about it, how there's no race etiquette. You can't talk to people. If there's no consequence for what they do, then what do they care? They jump in the car next week and do it again. So the only people that can police it are other drivers. Now, I do think that you're going to see more and more drivers not give Chastain any respect on the track, right? Like what you saw Larson do, blocking him. You may not see that, but you will see guys that, you know how when someone's faster than you and you give them the spot because you know they're quicker, and trying to fight them for position is only going to slow both of you down. You might as well the quicker you let them by, you can get back on pace. I think you might see less of that. When people see Ross in their mirror, they're probably going to be like, fuck this guy. Let him fucking earn it. I'm not going to just move over for him. And if you guys remember, the one thing people hated about Ryan Newman, and Ryan Newman was a clean racer, was that he was hard to pass. Like, he didn't care. He could be 3 laps down. He's not just going to move over for you. And people hated that, right? Because they figured, like, look, man, there is race etiquette, right? If you're already a lap down, you're not really fighting for position. You're affecting other people's race. The respectful thing to do is to just move, right? Well, he just didn't think that way. He didn't do it. And he would piss off everybody. He had that reputation. But say what you want about Ryan Newman, no one really called him a dirty driver. And Chastain has a dirty driver reputation. So Ryan was just tough as nails. So he was clean. And it was just like, you would get mad because it's like, fuck, I'm trying to pass this guy and he's not just moving over. It's frustrating, but you can't really, what are you going to do? But with Chastain, just, you're just running over people, bowling them over, moving people. He drives a lot like he's in iRacing, right? It's not real, right? And I know people praise it. There's people that give him credit. They're like, oh, I love a guy who's aggressive. Listen, it's not about aggression, okay? Everybody likes to see drivers that go for it. But you're fucking on the first stage and you're doing shit like that. That's not being aggressive. You're just being a fucking bonehead. He doesn't respect anybody. After the race, he gives you that goofy fucking smile, that fucking bullshit. Nobody believes. Look, here goes Casey. Look at his face. Until Ross Chastain looks like this and has to sit there on Race Hub and explain why he got that fucking mouse eye. He's not going to learn. Or how about somebody smashes a fucking watermelon on his head? Until somebody does something like that, he's not going to stop. But look at Casey. And he's got to sit there. I forgot
This
about
is ready to go online. Any questions?
Yeah, I got one. How about the best network
fucking
imaginable?
commercial.
Let's invent
Fuck
that.
you.
We don't have time for lag or buffering.
Who doesn't want internet that helps AI
And
do your homework even faster?
Come
I
again?
don't
Sorry,
think
what
I
was
ever
that?
heard
The
anyone
next
say
generation
a
10G network
bad thing
only
about
from
Casey
Xfinity.
Mears. I thought he was a clean.
Hey, and welcome to NASCAR Race Up, presented tonight by Ram. Lots of fireworks Saturday night. Steve Burns, Adam Alexander, Casey Mears. You look good, Casey.
I appreciate it.
And Larry Mack. Glad you're here.
Yeah, we thank you for being here. And just so everyone knows, he really didn't want to wear his sunglasses on the air for today's show. But he was a part of one of the big headlines to come out of Richmond on Saturday night. Let's take you back to the video of what went down in the garage after 400 laps. Casey and Marcus Ambrose discussing things, a little pushing, a little shoving, and eventually Marcus Ambrose is going to throw a punch.
Boom.
Then the crews would get involved, and there are reports that Marcus also got hit in the fray. Now, Casey, I was thinking about this after the race, and if you gave me a list of 20 drivers that might get into it following an event at Richmond, you and Marcus probably wouldn't be on that list. So what went wrong to cause what happened in the garage?
You know, it was a few things on the track, and at the end of the day, none of that should ever happen, right? But you know, in the heat of the moment when you got your race car and it just happened to you, some stuff that you didn't like, we started going at each other, and before we knew it, it escalated really quickly, and you know, for a moment there, I kind of wanted to hit him. You know what I mean?
You didn't want no part of that. Once he socked your face, you didn't want any part of it. You liar, you. I like Casey Mears. I always did like him. I'm not. This is what happened. This is what should happen. When you do the kind of shit Chastain does, this is the only way to handle it.
And I thought, I can't do that, you know, so I grabbed him, and you know, hey, it turned out the way that it did. Unfortunately, I ended up getting hit out of the deal, but Marcus and I had a real good conversation actually today, just talked through it.
I'll bet.
And man, things happen. You know, you get upset, and we're a couple guys, and we're passionate about what we do, and
Yeah, the conversation went like this. Casey said, "I'm sorry, I don't want no beef," and Ambrose said, "Don't you ever fucking touch me again. Stay out of my fucking way." And that's how that conversation went. I guarantee.
And I was on the, you know, the downside of it, but I think we both got our point across and kind of understand where we're at now.
So you guys are okay?
I think so, for the most part. I mean, you never forget getting hit, you know, but for the most part, yeah.
All right, well,
He still has nightmares about that punch.
the question is, what will NASCAR do about this? If anything, here's NASCAR Vice President Robin Pemberton after the race.
We're just taking a look at it. We were looking at the video in there. This doesn't seem to be much, but we'll take our time Monday and Tuesday and look at it some more.
Have you contacted either of them so far tonight, or is
No, we haven't called anybody in.
And they shouldn't. These are two grown men. You can't police everything. And what I like is, well, the teams did kind of get involved after that, but you can't keep getting in between these drivers. When two grown men have a problem and they're face to face, let them fucking hash it out. Don't get in there breaking them up or getting involved. These guys create the mess. Let them deal with it. So I don't remember what NASCAR did about it, but they shouldn't do anything about it. They should have said, you know, his answer there should have been, these are grown men. We don't see a reason to be involved. You know, it didn't. We don't think it went too far. Just two grown men. They settled it. It's over.
He is the same one that said boys have at it a few years, just for the record. He is.
Yeah, remember that? Boys have at it. That's one thing that NASCAR is so full of shit. You know, boys have at it means you're just fucking handle your shit as grown men.
Thanks for the reminder.
So do you anticipate any fines or penalties?
I honestly really don't know. I mean, after listening to that, I'm not sure. It's the only thing is if there isn't in some way, or I don't know how to distinguish what I'm able to do next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the same scenario. But at the end of the day, man, if this was just him and I on the street, we already had the conversation. You know, it's okay. But professionally, I want to know where that line is a little bit, you know? So hard to say what they do, but either way, I mean, we're going racing next week, and Marcus and I, like I said, had a good conversation, and, you know, we'll move on from here.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough of that. If Casey ever happens to even watch that. I didn't mean to laugh, but I can't help it. But that's the only way to. All right, let's see what fucking douchebag Watermelon Boy has to say here. I really wanted to like this guy.
Cook up crowd-pleasing dishes for
I can't.
brunch and beyond with recipes like bacon and egg mini quiches and sheet pan roasted shrimp and gnocchi with avocado lime sauce. Try both recipes from The Helpful Chef by Stop and Shop.
Completely my fault. I was just gonna actually follow Brennan past the 3 there, and he just checked up quicker than I thought, and I got it to him. Totally my fault. So tomorrow.
This is what I mean by situational awareness that he doesn't have. Right? You're behind Brennan Poole in a fucking Rick Ware car. So you shouldn't be surprised that he has to check up a little sooner than you do. You don't know that? You know, he's admitting he's at fault because the whole world can see it. The only people who don't see it are his hardcore fans, right? They can't separate their fucking fanboyism from reality. You could still cheer for this guy. Nobody's telling you you can't be a fan. Nobody's telling you that you can't cheer for him. But you don't have to bullshit. You don't have to make excuses for him. You don't have to try to defend what he's doing. Just say, hey, I'm a Ross Chastain fan, but what he did was wrong, but I don't care. I'm a fan. I respect that more. Don't go on social media saying it's Brennan Poole's fault for lifting too soon. He's in a fucking Rick Ware car. He can't drive into the corner as deep as Chastain or these guys, you know, these leaders, right? There's a reason that there's an hierarchy of cars, right? Rick Hendrick cars, you know, or even Trackhouse or Joe Gibbs Racing. These are better cars. They're going to be able to do things that these guys in the back can't do. So you have to have situational awareness. If you are one of these top tier drivers in a top tier equipment and you're behind fucking Rick Ware Racing or you're behind fucking BJ McLeod, you got to cut those guys a little slack. That is what situational awareness means. This guy doesn't have it. He's talented. He's fast. Nobody's saying he isn't. But that only makes it worse. If I see BJ McLeod doing what Chastain is doing, you know what? I'm not saying it's okay, but I could say, hey, this guy's desperate. It's a slow team. They're always struggling. You know, he's fighting for every inch he can get. I'm not going to defend and say it's okay, but I could say at least I understand it. He's not on these guys' level. And it bothers me that there's so many fans who have no respect for these low tier teams. Okay? You have 39, 40 cars, whatever it is, out on the track. You know, a lot of these guys are struggling just to be there. Just to be there at the end of the race. And nobody cares. It's like the show is only these guys up front. And everybody else has to just get out their way. That's not how it works. This is racing. So I guess I could give Chastain this much credit for at least admitting he's wrong. But he's full of shit. He's done this before, and he's going to do it again until somebody does what Ambrose did to Mears.
Go out to Sonoma, let's skip over, and when I get home from that, I'll go find him and Rick and make some of that right.
What were your thoughts on Larson?
How are you going to make it right? I'm curious to know. But what are you going to give him a year's supply of watermelons? How do you make that right?
You up when you and Trips were balanced. I know you regained ground on that, but you lost a lot of time.
You have a lot of confidence in those 4 tires that you can catch the 19. I know it was a short run to the end, but you did have that advantage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Phil asked me what I thought, and that was my vote. And we all have a vote with one team, so I just needed a few more laps or to turn. We freed it up, but not
enough for this guy. But he doesn't have anything to say about Larson, right? Just goes to show you these guys are fucking phony. These guys are fucking pussies. And he still wants to, I guess, be somewhat of a victim. You know, if you got some balls, say something. Say fucking what Larson did, I didn't like it, or he either you say, hey, I understand why he did it, or say, hey, fuck this guy. You know, I still don't think he should have been blocking me like that. You know, whatever. Have an opinion. Don't just say no comment. And I see people on social media, oh, you know, he's an honest guy. You know, he's this. They're praising this guy for what? The guy's talented. He's fast, but fuck me, man. I don't know. I can't. I just can't. I can't cheer for people like this. All right, so let's go down. Austin says, I remember that Ambrose punch. Yep. Mark Forget says, patience is a skill. Chastain doesn't have the skills to be in the Cup Series. Yes, patience is a skill, but it is something that you should be able to learn through experience. I'm not going to say he doesn't have the skill to be in Cup. The guy is fast. He still finished second. The guy can race. I'm not going to take that away from him. So I can't agree with that. But what I will say is there's something about him that after 7 years that he hasn't learned to dial it back just this much. That doesn't mean you don't try to win. There's a fucking difference. There's plenty of other guys who win races and they do it clean. And you don't have to do this to be, you know, that shit that he did. If he would have just waited, yeah, Larson might have passed him and maybe he wouldn't have ended second. Maybe he would have finished third or fourth, but it would have been clean. This is, and I keep hearing like, oh, this isn't gonna, you know, how's he gonna make the chase or how's he gonna get far in the chase? Well, I heard the same shit last year and nobody did shit to him. These guys are pussies. They're not gonna do anything about it. So, and he's gonna keep doing what he does, and he's gonna keep doing this. Oh shucks, golly gee, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to talk to them and make it right. How do you make that right? Nobody wants your fucking watermelons. They can buy all the watermelons they want. Austin says he gave Mears a good shot. Yes, he did. Facts. I don't condone violence, but that's how you send a message. Yeah, listen, it's not about condoning violence. It's like these are grown fucking men. And if you can use a 3,400-pound race car or a 3,500-pound race car as a weapon, then you should be able to stand up for yourself face to face. And these guys don't do that. I mean, you remember last year or the year before when fucking Ty Gibbs ran over somebody and then they faced him. He wouldn't even take his helmet off. These guys are fucking pussies and they get away with it. And he's going to keep doing this. Austin says, all right, hold on. I scrolled down too quick. Newman didn't roll over for anybody, but he did it clean. Laugh my fucking ass. Mark Forget says he's not wrecking people on purpose. He drives beyond his skill and beyond what the car can do. I see skill. I don't think he's doing it on purpose, but if he's driving over aggressive to where he's doing this, to me, what's the difference? If he's consciously doing it on purpose or he's just being over aggressive and then he loses control, to me, they're the same thing. So when people could tell me all they want, it's not on purpose, it doesn't fucking matter. If you drive like an idiot, you're going to keep doing this. Now, I don't agree about that he doesn't have the skill. I just don't. I've seen him. He's proven he can wheel a race car. He just needs to dial it down a notch. And I'm telling you, If he dialed it back just a notch, God knows how good he could be. He might actually win more races. So I don't know, man. It's just frustrating. That's gold. Ross Chastain has a mugshot smile. Yeah, he's got that. It's that fake ass fucking grin. Goofy ass fucking grin. You know who else has that? Fucking Joey Logano. You know, that goofy grin after every race or when he does something stupid. Another guy that's never been like these guys are all the same. You know, it's just it's weird. This is it's a different generation. I could tell you that much. It's just these guys. I don't know, man. I'm not sure how else to put it. But yeah. Well, it's almost 9 o'clock, so yeah. I think I'm. Let me hold on a second. Give me a second here. Let me try to get the league up. Okay. I have a slow internet here, so let this load. Hold on. Bear with me. I'm trying to load up iRacing because I want to start talking about the league. I was hoping more people that were in the league would show up, but apparently not. So, in case they watch it later, I'll show you where we are. We're going to keep moving forward. We haven't had the turnout that I was hoping for, but hopefully Joshua, as he said, would join. Um, we've had 3 races, and all 3 races have gone green. We have yet to have a single caution, but the reason for that is we've only had a couple people on the track. At first we were trying to get like a minimum of 20, and that, we've had about 16 people sign up, but Jesus, this is taking forever. Yeah, my internet's slow. I'm just waiting for it to load up. But yeah. So the first week, I forgot how many people we had. Then the second week, it went down to like 9. And then this last race, only 6 people showed up. So it's a bit discouraging, but we're going to keep pushing forward and hopefully more people join, right? Um, I just was worried that the people that were tuning in to watch my live stream or anything like that, I don't want them sitting there bored or just like not getting anything out of it. But the feedback I am getting from some of those people is like, we don't care, keep moving forward. So I'm fine. We'll move forward. If this week we get another low turnout, then maybe what we'll do is the following week, I think we're at Darlington. I'm trying to load this up. Yeah, this is taking too long. All right, quit. Hold on. Let me try it again. But we're at Darlington, and then we will add some AI cars, right? I don't know how many. Maybe we add 10 cars just to see what happens. We'll set them to like 100, and hopefully the AI behaves well enough where it doesn't ruin the race. We got to try something because we can't do full races with like 6 or 7 people. That's not going to work. So we'll keep trying different things. And I was hoping to get some feedback today from people, in the league or even, whoever. So let's see. Project 94, welcome. Chase Elliott was bruise free after dumping the hell out of Ty Dillon in one of the old truck races. And I'm saying that as a LA fan. Yeah. Alec the Flexer, welcome. Gabe Dillis, welcome. So Gabe Dillis is one of the guys in the league. So yeah, we're gonna keep pushing, man. We're not giving up. We're gonna gauge this week, see what the turnout is like, and then we'll make up our mind. And if we have to add AI at Darlington, we will. But we're only gonna add, I would say, 8 to 10 cars, right? We want to keep it kind of low we I think if you add too many AI cars, you may be just adding problems. And we'll see what happens. And if it doesn't work out, I don't know. We got to try something, right? And we already got Joshua who's joining, and he said he's gonna be in the race. So, man, this fucking thing won't load up. Yeah, my internet at work is very slow. All right, I'm not even gonna try because it's just gonna end up probably messing up the live stream. So, yeah. But yeah, man, I don't care who it is. If you do something that you shouldn't do on the racetrack and you screw up other people, and it was because not because you made a mistake, but because you're being an over aggressive idiot, then you should get punched out. I don't care who it is. See, I'd be down to try the additional AI. Almost makes a challenge in and of itself. Yeah, I look at it this way. It creates a buffer, right? The key is you have to set the AI high enough where they keep up a good pace. Because if they're too slow, that could be an issue, and then they just become like roadblock. Um, so I'd rather have them be like a little too fast than a little too slow. That's just my take on it from my experience. And if we only add 10 cars, I think that would help because it just gives the race more of a full feel. Um, and we got to try something, right? So yeah, I was just a bit at a loss because I don't want people to feel like I want people to feel like they're getting something out of it. Everyone is racing someone. I don't know what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know if you're talking about lap cars or cars in the back, but yeah, I agree. I fucking hate when people look at these races and then they expect these low tier teams to just get out the way or like a lot of these drivers have a privileged attitude and they feel like if they catch you, you got to get out the way immediately. And if you don't get out the way quick enough, they'll just dump you. You hear them on the radio too. They'll get mad because so and so's in front of them because they forget what it's like. Yeah, work AI. Everyone is running another car. Yeah, man. I I I agree. I enjoy racing AI if it's set properly. I think it'll add something to it. And maybe they help get in the way of John and some of the quick guys that are stinking up the show for us. And I'm kidding, guys, but maybe we throw a little something in the way. But in either case, I just to see more cars on the track, I think makes it interesting. And to have a mix of real drivers and AI, I don't know. It could be cool. I don't know because I haven't seen anyone try that. I know what it's like to race AI by myself, but what is it like with a group of people against some AI? I'm curious. So we're not going to do it at Bristol. We're just going to run that because Bristol's small. It may not work as well. There's not as much room. And who knows, right? Maybe more people start showing up. Maybe the AI thing won't be necessary. But I'm not anticipating that. I still feel like we're going to have to add some AI just to make things interesting. I know some other guys are probably not as enthusiastic about racing because they feel like they're not as competitive as some of the guys that are up front. So I'm trying to tell people try to look at it the way I do. I'm sort of racing myself as well. I do the best I can, and I'm just measuring myself against those guys. I know I'm not going to fucking win, but who knows? If I get a top three, I'll feel good about myself because there's definitely two or three guys that I know I'm not on that level. So I'm okay with that. But if I could stay close enough and the more people that are in there, it'll get better. And there's still room, plenty of room for guys that want to join. Let's see. It's only of late that you could even add AI, go host the sessions, I believe. Yeah, it should work. Shades plays, welcome. I'm late here. Do you think you can give me a quick recap of what you discussed? Yes. Obviously, the race overall, I personally gave it an 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I did miss a chunk of it. Like, there were a few cautions when the race started. So I had to leave to come to work before the end of the first stage. And when I got to work and I got settled in and I was able to get watching the race, it was into the second stage already. But I got to see long green flag runs, pit stops, all that good stuff. It had an old school race feel to it, and I like that about Dover. You do get a lot of long green flag runs. So overall, even though Suarez, he had I guess a tire went down or something, and that was a real kick in the balls for me as a fan. But I still enjoyed the race. I saw a lot of good racing throughout the field. Not, Fox needs to do a better job of showing all the other stuff throughout the field. I still think they focus too much on the leaders, and it makes you feel as a viewer on TV that not a lot's going on. But there is plenty of stuff going on. But they need to find the action. So, but the broadcast itself, I thought it wasn't as terrible as usual. Rusty Wallace was really good in the booth. They need to hire him full time, do something. He really helped elevate the booth. Um, Even Boyer, for some reason, wasn't as annoying today. Okay, he's not winning me over, but I guess, with Rusty being in the booth, he was a little more laid back, and it worked better for me. Also, kudos to Fox. They actually showed Ty Dillon, I think, when he got wrecked by Kyle Busch, and the back of the car crunched in. So they actually showed what NASCAR did to improve the car, and they showed you an animation cutaway of the back of the car, what they changed, some of the bars, they changed that. I love stuff like that. They need to get back to like it used to be. They used to show a lot of that technical stuff during the broadcast. So that was real cool. And listening to Larry Mack explain that was a cool little moment. We don't get enough of that. So I did enjoy that. But the race overall, I thought was a solid race, but definitely above average. I enjoyed it. And I think an 8 out of 10 is uh, ju- uh, a fair score for the race for me. I really did enjoy it. And if you're a fan of old school type of racing, yeah, this race did have an old school feel to it. I would think you'd like it. So, and then of course we were discussing Chastain and his boneheaded fucking over aggressiveness. Um, it's this guy. I mean, he can't get out of his own fucking way, and he's talented. I'm telling you, if he dialed it back just a bit, um, he could still be successful. This is not necessary to do this. There's a lot of drivers who are successful and never do this kind of shit. So it's unnecessary. And of course, I brought up the league. If you don't know, we have the Disco Cup series on iRacing. If anybody out there hasn't joined yet and is interested, give me your real name on iRacing, and either I or Landon Kimmett will get you signed up. The more the merrier. We need people to join. Okay, yeah, I've had fun. Um, we've had 3 races already, and we have yet to have a caution. So it's great. If you're looking for long green flag racing, that's not something you're going to get a lot of on iRacing. Then join up. And oh, by the way, almost forgot. I did hear back from Winvow. He's not going to be able to make it. He is already committed to another Friday night league. So he did get back to me. So I said thank you. Good luck, and that's that. So I don't know if he joined by accident. Maybe he saw something he clicked on. I don't know, but he can't make it. So we were hoping that he could join because obviously WinVal has a big following. It's not a tiny channel like this, and maybe get more people interested or watching stuff like that. But and I hope people don't get discouraged if you're in the league and it's starting to drag for you because it's not enough people. Please stick with it. Um, if anything, just look at it as you're going to get a lot of green flag uh, track time. So we're going to keep pushing forward. So yeah, I'm not really surprised. This is a small channel. I said from day one, I'm not the best guy to really try to do this. So I'm not surprised by the low turnout, but I really appreciate everybody who's part of it, and we're going to keep pushing forward. And like I said, if we don't get a high turnout at Bristol this week, Friday night, um, we're going to start adding AI next week. We're not going to fill the field, but I think 10 cars, and I think set them at 100 and just let the fucking chips fall where they may. Um, See what happens. Or night. I mean, I don't know what to say because they behave different depending on what track. But yeah, so that's pretty much what we've been discussing. All right. So Project 94 says, I remember watching Jamie McMurray winning the big Daytona 500 when I was really young. That was really something. Yeah, that was 2010. I remember that vividly because I was always a Jamie McMurray fan, and I remember I'm telling you, that was a great moment for me. So I remember that really well. Shades Play says, I thought it was a great race also. Yes. I think the car did put on a pretty good show. And I know that people are caught up right now. Oh, it's not enough power. It's not this. It's not that. Um, they still need to work on the car, but it is getting better. And you got to remember, the car is still pretty young, right? Um, I noticed we haven't been. Remember how we were seeing fires inside the frame of the car? We're not seeing that as much anymore. Remember when they first came out with the car, tires were blowing out all the time. Cars were getting stuck on the track. We don't see that as often anymore. They're figuring things out. And this is what I told people from the beginning. You got to give it some time. And again, there are so many things you can do to this car to improve it. Yeah, and I don't like that Logano was shifting, but they showed him late in the race. I heard him shifting in the car. I don't know if anyone else was doing that. I think he had big problems. That car was really destroying the right front tire. I think the setup was just not there, and I think he was shifting because the car just wouldn't turn. I'm thinking that's why he did it. I really don't know. But I haven't seen or heard anyone else shifting. But I don't think you should be able to shift at any oval track. I don't like that. NASCAR needs to work on that. Add a little horsepower. Take down some more downforce. And I'm telling you, at certain tracks, it's been pretty good. So keep working on it. Wheeling Lake Erie says these races are way too long. I think NASCAR is in big trouble with the next generation of fans. I disagree. I think that this next generation of fans, they are low attention span fans. NASCAR has already catered to them way too much. Okay, and they did lower the length of a lot of races from what they used to be. They don't need to lower the fucking. They got to stop. They got to get back to the way things used to work. That when NASCAR was at its peak. Um, get rid of these stage cautions, and to hell with it. The people that don't have enough of an attention span to follow, fuck them, because they are not the people NASCAR needs to be catering to. This was great. I didn't think this was too long at all. I'm sorry, I disagree with that. Shades Played says, I've always been a Chastain fan. I like how, sorry. I like how he drove bad equipment for years, proved himself to get opportunities. He really had to grind it out. I get it. But um, he's in good, now he has good equipment. And there's a difference between grinding it out in fighting and just running people over. There's a big difference. So he has a problem. This isn't a coincidence anymore. It's not a couple of incidents. And now I've seen people like, oh, he gets blamed for everything. Then he does shit like this. So, of course, there are other drivers who get the job done and don't drive like that. So, you could still be a fan. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't keep defending the bullshit. You know, that's how I feel about it. He just wasn't handed great rides. That being said, I can't excuse incidents like today. Trackhouse they build good cars. They're not on Hendrick's level. They're not on Gibbs level, right? They are to me a notch below. But they're close where they can put on races like this. All he needs to do is tone it back just a little bit. Have a little more situational awareness. This is boneheaded shit. Don Bender says, "What lap times are you running around Bristol?" Oh, I don't know. I gotta. Oh, are you asking Gabe Dillis? Oh, okay. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to even practice. Tomorrow, I got. I don't even. I don't get to race on iRacing as often as I want to because of my schedule and I'm very busy. So that's one of the reasons I'm not that good. But in either case, holding on to the car at Bristol is going to be a challenge. I don't expect it might be my worst race I'm expecting, but we'll see. Let's see. How close is the baseline at Bristol compared to the fixed setup? I don't know. I believe it's the same sets. It seems like the setup for the track is way looser than the baseline. And then I had to go 1, 2, steering. All right. Don't forget they used to be Ganassi. Tier team, right? They would show up once. Those are your top cars. Then you got Haas, because Haas fell off a bit. So then you got Haas, Trackhouse, um, and Roush Fenway or Keselowski Racing. They're getting better, and I would say they might be right there with Trackhouse. So those are your second tier, and second tier is not bad. And then don't forget fuck. Austin Dillon and Kyle Busch. I'm having a fucking brain fart. That team, they are there too. So the second tier is pretty competitive, but really at the top it's Hendrick, Gibbs, and I would say Penske, and that's your tiers, right? So if you're getting the cars that Chastain's getting, he's gonna be competitive most of the time. He doesn't need to do. He could dial it back just a little bit. Um, yeah. So I'm gonna try one more time, right? Let me try iRacing one more time because I want to show you guys where we are. I was hoping more people would join the live stream today. Fuck, this thing's taking forever. Yeah, RCR. Sorry. you'd be surprised about the things that I get a brain freeze. I don't know, man. I hope that's not an early timed out. Try again. One last time. Yeah, my internet's too slow. Fuck this. I'm not gonna even try. So yeah, I forget a lot of things, and I hope that's not early onset fucking Alzheimer's. Um, I'm 53 now. I don't know if that's too young, but it scares me sometimes. I forget simple shit. But yeah, RCR, Trackhouse, Haas. There's pretty much your second tier. Um, and Keselowski, Roush Keselowski Racing, whatever the fuck. So yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts. We're gonna be closing out the live stream in a couple of minutes. If you guys got any questions, now is the time. I think I covered everything. 8 out of 10. Very entertaining, solid race for the most part. Yeah. So for those of you who missed it, hold on a second. Now I was gonna go. I was gonna go find the Casey Mears punch. I'm gonna leave that alone. Poor guy. So okay, guys. Yeah, I think we're gonna close it out for the night. I want to thank all you guys for showing up, and I hope to see more people Friday night. I will be live streaming the race, and I promise this time you're not gonna get to stare at a window net for an hour. We'll get it right. I figured things out, so those of you who will tune in, you'll get to see the race. So anyhow, hold on a second. What am I looking for? All right. Yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. Thanks everybody for showing up. And I'll see you guys Friday. All right, guys, have a good one.